couple of years ago, I released a video about the Mansion House Compact, changes to how default pension funds are invested. This week, the government and 17 of the biggest pension providers went even further with what's now called the Mansion House Accord. I was critical the first time, and I'm even more concerned now. If you've got a pension, and especially if you've never checked how it's invested, you need to know what's happening, and crucially, you need to know what to do about it. Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Pete Matthew. I'm a chartered financial planner based in the UK. Today's video is brought to you by Meaningful Academy. More on that a little bit later. So yeah, 2 years ago, I warned you about the Mansion House reforms, planned by the government and major pension providers to invest your pension money into higher risk, unlisted assets. Now, those plans have been expanded in the Mansion House Accord, and whether you like it or not, a chunk of your pension could soon be moved into riskier, more expensive investments without your explicit consent. So let's quickly recap what's happened, why it matters, and most importantly, what you can do today to protect yourself. The Mansion House Accord confirms that the major pension providers have committed to investing at least 10% of their default pension funds into so-called private assets by 2030. The pension providers are 17 of the biggest in the UK, including Aviva, Scottish Widows, Legal & General, Aegon, Phoenix, Nest, Smart Pension, M&G and Mercer, and there are more. So what are these private assets? Well, they include unlisted equities, so that's shares in companies that are not traded on public exchanges. It includes property investments, infrastructure projects like renewable energy and transport, and private debt or credit, which involves lending money directly to businesses or projects rather than buying publicly traded bonds. Now, the idea is that the government can channel more money into UK growth businesses, and that supports their agenda of encouraging growth in the economy. And that's a worthy aim. I just don't think that this is the way to go about it. So what does it all mean for you? Well, if you've never actively chosen your pension investments, and that's around 90% of people, you're probably in your pension's default fund. Now, those default funds will now carry higher risks because private investments are less transparent and maybe can't be so easily traded. Now, these changes might promise higher returns, but they come with significantly higher risks and higher costs. Now, I object strongly to the government and pension providers making sweeping decisions on how, let's face it, your money should be invested. This is why I'm cross. The government is exploiting widespread financial apathy and ignorance for political gain. You see, unlisted companies can provide big returns, but many early stage companies fail. So there's significant additional risk there over and above investing in ordinary listed shares, which is what I always suggest that you should do. Add to that, private investments usually come with high fees, so you could end up paying significantly more because the government thinks you should take more risk with your pension pot. Now, UK defined contribution or DC pensions are subject to a cap in fees of 0.75% per year. But in reality, many pension schemes operate way below this. And so private assets will increase scheme fees, potentially up to that cap. And also, private investments often have performance fees built in, and those fees are not limited by that fee cap. With DC pensions, what you get out of them at retirement is a function of how much you put in and how well the investments inside the pension perform over the decades that you're paying in. You, the pension holder, take all the risk, unlike defined benefit or DB pensions, where the employer and the scheme take the risk and your outcome is guaranteed. Now, this government swept to power on an agenda of encouraging growth, and that's a great idea in principle. But I just don't see why they should use your pension money to achieve that. Instead, they should be encouraging growth with lower taxes and less red tape. And that's not a party political statement, by the way. This began with the Tory government in 2023 and is continuing now with this Labour government. So, your pension is going to get more risky and more expensive, potentially. Is there any good news in all this? Well, yes, there is. The good news is that you can take control and make some changes. Remember, this is happening to the default funds inside pensions. So first, you need to find out how your pension is invested. So log into your pension provider's website or dig out the most recent statement and see if you're invested in the default fund. Often this will be labeled something like managed or balanced or something similar, but you might need to pick up the phone to your provider and ask the simple question, am I invested in the default fund? You can use the brilliant free tool at pickerfund.com to check what's underneath the bonnet of your pension funds. I've linked to that in the description. It's good to learn more about this stuff because your future depends on it. So don't just shrug and say that you can't ever understand it. You absolutely can. And there's tons of content here on this channel to help you. Second, evaluate your comfort with risk generally. The Royal London Risk Profiler, which is also linked below, is free, and it can help you understand a little bit about your attitude towards and capacity for investment risk. All investments go up and down, and the risk profile tool will explain to you what sort of risk levels you might be more or less comfortable with. If you understand a little bit more about your pension fund and your own tolerance for investment risk and timescales and things like that, I would say that there's a good chance that your default pension fund doesn't actually align with your personal preferences. Third, consider shifting your investments. Most pension providers offer alternative funds, even if there's only a choice of a handful of them. And if those aren't suitable, you could move your pension to a different provider who does offer the kind of funds that you want. Now, if the pension you're in is provided by your employer, then you probably can't move it without losing your employer's contributions into it. So don't do that. But you could set up a secondary personal pension alongside, potentially. If you're unsure about how to navigate these decisions, I've created Meaningful Academy to empower you. It breaks down complex decisions like choosing investments and whether or not to shift your pension into clear, manageable steps. The two courses that will help you are Build Wealth, where you can discover how to choose investments and create a solid pension plan. This is for those in the accumulation stage of their financial lives. And then there's the Retirement Planning course, which will help you prepare confidently for retirement, knowing that you've made informed decisions. But the best part about the Academy is the community. Thousands of people in a similar situation that you can bounce ideas off and help each other out. So visit meaningfulacademy.com to check out the courses and use the coupon code YouTube for a discount. Look, you shouldn't let political decisions made by other people dictate your financial future. So check your pension today, understand how you're invested, and make deliberate choices about your money. Don't bury your head in the sand, hoping it's all going to be okay. Nobody is more invested in your own future than you are, so you need to take control. Please share this video widely. It's essential that more people become financially aware and empowered, and that's what we're all about here at Meaningful Money. But for now, thank you for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and click here to watch my guide on choosing the right pension funds. Take control of your money, take control of your future. I'll see you next time.